We spend so much energy worrying about our enemies, the people who openly dislike us, the ones who scream in our faces. But if you really stop and think about it, they aren't the dangerous ones. Not really. The scariest person in your life is actually the one standing right next to you, the one who claps the loudest when you win. They smile when you smile. They nod when you speak. But behind that mask, there's something rotting, a quiet, burning desire to see you fail. We call these people friends. We trust them with our secrets. But psychology has a darker, more honest word for what drives them. It's a poison that has destroyed empires and ruined families since the beginning of time. It's called envy. And here's the terrifying part. You almost never see it coming. The knife doesn't come from the front. It comes from the back, usually from the hand you shook yesterday. So today, we're going deep. We're not just going to list some random signs. We are going to dissect the human mind to understand why people turn on us. I'm going to show you the 7 subtle, almost invisible signs that someone is secretly praying for your downfall. But first, we have to clear something up because people get this wrong all the time. You hear words like jealousy and envy and think they mean the same thing. They don't. Think of it like this. Jealousy is fear. It's the panic you feel when you think you're going to lose something you already have, like your partner or your job. It screams, "This is mine, stay away." Envy is much colder. It's not about protecting what you have. It's about hating someone else for what they have. It's painful when an envious person sees you succeed. They feel like a failure. And to stop that pain, they have 2 choices. They can work harder to get on your level, or they can try to drag you down to theirs. And let's be honest, most people choose the second option. It's just easier. So, why do we do this? Is your friend just evil? Maybe. But usually, it's just biology. See, for thousands of years, humans lived in small tribes where survival was a competition. If you got the food, I went hungry. If you became the leader, I was the follower. Back then, comparing yourself to others kept you alive. If you were losing, your brain flooded you with stress hormones, screaming, "Wake up, you're falling behind." Fast forward to today. We aren't fighting for food anymore. There's plenty of success to go around, but our brains, they're still running that old, outdated software. So when your friend sees you get that promotion or buy that new car, their primitive brain freaks out. It sees your success as a threat to their survival. It's a glitch in their programming. They might love you consciously, but deep down, your happiness highlights their own misery. And that internal war creates the 7 signs we need to talk about. So, let's get into the first one. All right, let's get into the signs of a secret hater. And I want you to pay close attention, because the first sign is a master of disguise. It's what we call the backhanded compliment. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's when someone says something that sounds nice, but for some reason, it stings. You walk away feeling confused, wondering, wait, was that a compliment or an insult? Let me give you an example. But an envious friend, they'll say something like, "You look so healthy now. I was actually getting worried about how big you were before. Do you feel the difference?" It's pure sugar-coated poison. Another classic is when you get a promotion or achieve a big goal. They might say, "Congratulations, I'm so surprised they picked you. You must be really lucky." See what they did there? They acknowledged your success, but they immediately stripped away all your hard work and just credited it to luck. This is low-key psychological warfare. They do this because they need to lower your status in their own mind. By calling it luck or pointing out a past flaw, they protect their fragile ego. It allows them to pretend that you aren't actually better than them, you're just luckier. If you hear these subtle digs often, stop ignoring them. That's not social awkwardness. That's resentment leaking out. This brings us to sign number 2, and this one is purely biological. You can't fake this. It's the micro-expression glitch. Human beings are actually terrible liars. We think we're so good at hiding our feelings, but our biology always betrays us. The famous researcher Paul Ekman discovered that before our conscious brain can put on a social mask, our true emotions flash across our face for a fraction of a second. We call these micro-expressions. Don't listen to their words. Look directly at their eyes. Do their eyes narrow? Do their lips tighten just a little bit? It happens in less than a second, and then boom, the fake smile appears. But that 1 second told you the absolute truth. It's that gut feeling you get when someone congratulates you. But the energy just feels off. Their words say, "I'm happy for you," but their energy says something completely different. You need to trust that instinct. Your subconscious mind picked up on a signal that your conscious mind missed. But the second your life takes a turn for the better, they vanish. You get a new job, a new relationship, a new opportunity, and suddenly they're too busy to answer your calls. This isn't a coincidence. They enjoy your company when you are down because it makes them feel superior. Your problems validate their own life choices. But when you start winning, you become a mirror reflecting their own insecurities and lack of progress. Your success makes them feel bad about themselves, so they withdraw. They can't stand to be around the evidence of your achievements. If your friend is only your friend when you're miserable, they aren't your friend at all. They're a fan of your failures. Before you can even answer, your envious friend jumps in and says something like, "Oh, well, she got that bonus last year, and her parents probably helped a little too, right?" They can't just let you have your moment. Envious people try to suck it out of the room. So pay attention to how people react, not just to your struggles, but to your victories. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more tips on navigating life. Now, moving on to sign number 3. This one is incredibly frustrating because it makes you feel like you re-crazy for even being upset. I call this the spotlight shift. Have you ever shared something really exciting? Maybe you got engaged, or you launched a business and within 10 seconds, the conversation is suddenly about them. You are pouring your heart out, you're glowing, and they just pivot. They might say, "Oh, that's cool. By the way, my car broke down yesterday and it cost me a fortune." Just like that, the energy in the room dies. It feels like someone popped a balloon. This isn't just bad manners, it's a defense mechanism. See, an envious person cannot physically tolerate the spotlight being on you for too long. It burns them. Your success reminds them of their stagnation. So, they instinctively try to change the channel. They will either downplay your news to make it seem small, or they will create a sudden crisis to pull the attention back to themselves. If you notice a friend who consistently gets a headache, a bad mood, or a dramatic life problem exactly when you are celebrating a win, that is not a coincidence. That is envy trying to steal the show. And this leads us into sign number 4, which is honestly the creepiest one on the list. It's when admiration turns into obsession. We're talking about pathological imitation. You've heard the saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? Throw that out the window. In the world of dark psychology, Excessive imitation is a warning sign. It starts small. Maybe they buy the same shoes as you. Then they start using the same slang words you use. Then they cut their hair like yours. Suddenly, you look up, and it feels like you're looking in a mirror. But it doesn't feel good, it feels violating. Why do they do this? Because they don't just want what you have, they want to be you. They hate their own identity so much that they try to wear yours like a costume. They study you, they analyze why people like you, and they try to copy-paste your personality onto themselves. It's not flattery, it's identity theft. If you have a friend who copies your career path, your hobbies, and your style, but never gives you credit for inspiring them, run. All right, we're diving into some seriously dangerous territory now. The first few signs of a toxic friend we talked about were annoying, but sign number 5. This one can genuinely ruin your life. I call it the saboteur. This is when a so-called friend actively tries to sabotage your success, but they do it disguised as protecting you. They're the ones who give you absolutely terrible advice with a completely straight face, making you think they have your best interests at heart. Let's imagine you meet an amazing new partner. You're over the moon, you're happy. But this friend starts planting little seeds of doubt. They'll say things like, I don't know, do you really think they're right for you? They seem kind of controlling. Or maybe you come up with a brilliant business idea. They'll immediately shoot it down with, wow, that sounds really risky. The economy is terrible right now. You should probably just play it safe and stick with your job. So, why do they do this? It's simple and it's ugly. They don't necessarily want you to fail, but they definitely don't want you to succeed more than them. It's a classic case of what social psychologists call the crab bucket mentality. Picture this. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one tries to crawl out to freedom, the other crabs will literally grab its legs and pull it back down into the bucket. They would rather they all perish together than let one of them escape to a better life. Your envious friend is that crab. They're comfortable in their own misery. And your ambition, your drive, your happiness, it makes them deeply uncomfortable. It shines a light on their own inaction. So, they pull you down with fake concern and passive-aggressive warnings, secretly hoping you'll stay stuck in the bucket with them forever. Their mediocrity loves your company. And what happens if you ignore their terrible advice and, God forbid, you actually fail? Well, that brings us to sign number 6. This is arguably one of the darkest and most twisted human emotions we know of. The Germans have a perfect, untranslatable word for it. Schadenfreude literally means harm joy. It's the disturbing pleasure a person gets from witnessing another person's misfortune. It's a secret, smug satisfaction in your pain. Have you ever told a friend about a painful breakup or a major financial loss, and you just felt this weird sense of relief coming from them? It's subtle. They might say all the right words, like, oh my God, you poor thing. That is absolutely terrible. I'm so sorry. But their tone is just a little too light. There's no real empathy in their eyes. Then they start asking for every single gory detail of your tragedy. What did they say? Asterisk, exactly asterisk? And then what happened? How much money did you lose? Tell me everything. They aren't asking because they care about you. They're asking because they're feeding on the drama. It's like watching a car crash for them. They just can't look away. It's their entertainment. Your failure validates their own life choices. It makes them feel secure in their own stagnation. It sends a message to their insecure ego. I was right. Trying hard and taking risks doesn't work out. It's much better to be cautious and safe, just like me. If you notice that a friend seems far more interested, more animated, more engaged when you talk about your failures than when you share your victories, that is a massive, flashing, neon red flag. A true friend is someone who sits in the mud with you when you fall. They don't judge. They just offer a hand and help you get back up. An envious friend, a frenemy, sits in the mud and tries to pull you in deeper because it makes them feel a little less lonely in their own self-made swamp. You deserve friends who celebrate your climbs, not just spectate your falls. Think about it. Who in your life gets excited about your wins? Stick with them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on building a better life. And finally, we arrive at sign number 7. If you see this, the relationship is already dead. You just haven't buried it yet. This is called the unspoken competition. Have you ever noticed that with certain friends, you can never just exist? Everything has to be a contest. If you say you're tired because you've worked 10 hours, they immediately jump in. Oh, that's nothing. I worked 14 hours and didn't even eat lunch. If you buy a new phone, they start talking about how they're planning to buy the newer, more expensive version next month. It's exhausting, isn't it? This is called one-upping. An envious person cannot stand to be in a secondary position. Even in suffering, they have to beat you. If you have a headache, they have a migraine. If you had a bad day, they had the worst week of their life. They are constantly fighting for the title of main character. They need to prove, at every single turn, that they are either better than you or suffering more than you. There is no space for your reality because their ego takes up the entire room. If you feel like you are constantly in a race you never signed up for, it's because you are. And the only way to win that race is to stop running. So, now comes the million-dollar question. You've listened to these signs. You have a face in your mind right now. You know who I'm talking about. What do? Do you confront them? Do you scream at them? No, that is exactly what they want. They want the drama. They want to know that they affect you. If you get angry, you are giving them supply. Instead, I want you to use a psychological technique called the gray rock method. It is the most powerful weapon against envious people. The idea is simple. You become as boring, uninteresting, and unresponsive as a gray rock. When they try to give you a backhanded compliment, don't get mad. Just say, okay, and change the subject. When they try to brag or compete with you, don't argue. Just nod and say, that's nice. Stop feeding them your energy. And most importantly on this is the hardest part: stop sharing your dreams with them. Stop telling them about your business ideas, your relationship goals, or your next big move. Move in silence. The less they know, the less they can ruin. Listen, losing a friend is painful. It hurts to realize that someone you loved was secretly rooting against you. But you have to understand that you cannot change them. You cannot love them out of their envy. Their battle is with themselves, not with you. You were just the mirror that showed them what they lacked. So, take your energy back. Surround yourself with people who mention your name in a room full of opportunities, not people who try to dim your light just so they can shine a little brighter. You deserve a circle that claps when you win. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. See you next time.